So prices throughout the entire economy and real estate market are so outrageous that millions of people, as you're about to see, are now facing this reality.
37.9 million. That's the number of Americans currently living in poverty, accounting for 11.6% of the total population. The middle class is typically defined as households with an annual income ranging between $53,740 and $161,220. As of June 2024, 65% of middle-class Americans said they were struggling financially and don't expect their situation to improve for the rest of their lives.
And even though this accounts for hundreds of millions of people, prices continue to go up, especially home prices. And coming up, I'm going to show you what I think is going to happen to the housing market, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market. Stay tuned. What's going on, my YouTube friends? This is Jerry Abbott, your number one real estate resource here in beautiful Las Vegas. Hey guys, a couple of real quick things before we dive into the video. If this is your first time to the channel and you want to learn the cold hard facts about the U.S. economy, the U.S. real estate market, and specifically the Las Vegas real estate market, then make sure to subscribe to the channel down below. Number two, if you happen to like the content in today's video, make sure to press that thumbs up like button, guys. That would really help the channel out. And number three, if you are thinking about relocating to beautiful Las Vegas, whether it's next month or next year, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. Let's dive into the video. So now, as you can see right next to me, home prices continue to increase, and we're now at record highs. But even worse, take a look also right next to me. Most people are paying 7% or more for their mortgage rates, which is why in this upcoming chart, I'm going to show you why home prices are still so stubbornly high. All right, so let's take a look at this very interesting pie chart. Take a look at the very top where it says interest rate on outstanding mortgages. And then right underneath that in the yellow highlight, it says 73.3% of U.S. mortgage borrowers have an interest rate under 5%. So here's how I want to look at the chart. Let's eliminate the dark red in the upper right side for now, and then the medium red on the right side as well. And we're going to look at just the three sections on the upper left, the lower left, and the lower right, all of those blue shaded sections. So let's start down at the bottom right. About 18% of all home borrowers have a mortgage rate of about 4% all the way up close to 5%. Then on the lower left, you can see 3% to just about 4%. There's about 34% of mortgage borrowers that have that kind of a mortgage rate. And on the upper left, less than 3% mortgage rates, that comprises about 21% of all home mortgage borrowers. All right, so now let's take a look at the red sections here on the pie chart. On the lighter red section there, you can see between 5% and 5.99%, about 9.5% of people have that kind of a mortgage rate. And then when we look at the dark red section, 6% or higher, about 17% right now have a mortgage rate of that 6% mark or a little bit higher than that. So this pie chart right here clearly shows why there's a big U.S. housing inventory problem right now, because almost 75% of the people that have a mortgage on their home are paying 5% or less, and the other sections only comprise about 25%. So nearly 3/4 of the people that have a mortgage of 5% or less, even if they sold their home right now and they made a nice profit, if they were to go buy a new home and to get financing on that home, they'd be paying about a 7 or 8% interest rate. So again, a lot of sellers right now, even if they'd like to sell, they can't sell because they know their mortgage payments would go up drastically. And again, that's why so many homes are not listed for sale and why there's a housing supply issue. And that's why demand is superseding housing supply and why prices are so much higher right now. Now, as a result of this, housing inventory is still quite low because there are so many sellers unwilling to sell their homes with low mortgage rates and then buy into a new home with a higher mortgage rate, which means demand is still likely going to outpace supply. Now, here in Las Vegas, where I happen to be located, take a look right next to me. Las Vegas home prices have now reached a new record high. Now, just think about this for a second. If you live in an expensive state like California or New York or Washington, Las Vegas home prices are still relatively affordable compared to those expensive states. We have very low property taxes. We have the best entertainment. The list goes on and on. So it's a very easy transition for a lot of people in those expensive areas to move to places like Las Vegas. And in fact, it's why homes like this one that I'm standing in front of right now are popping up in all of these brand new luxury communities that a couple of years ago, this home was about $1.5 to $2 million. And now they're well over $3 million because again, a lot of this market is being driven by a lot of wealthy homeowners from out-of-state buyers that are easily able to afford homes like this. And coming up, I want to show you a few other specific examples of Las Vegas homes for sale and what some of these homes are now selling for compared to their original list prices. All right, so now I'm on the popular real estate platform Zillow that most of you you are familiar with, and I wanted to show you 3 specific examples of Las Vegas homes for sale that are actually no longer for sale. They recently closed. I wanted to start in the luxury price category and then work down closer to the medium price point just to show you where the original list prices were and then what they actually sold for. So let's start with this first home right here. This home you can see on the left side of the screen. It was sold for $1,450,000. It's a 4-bedroom, 4-bath, 2,800 square foot home. But again, I want to show you the price history down below from the original list price to the selling point. All right, so take a look down at the bottom of the screen in the blue highlight. Down on the bottom left there, the date says 10/9/2024. So that's about 4 months ago. This home was originally listed for sale for $1,490,000. They had a pending sale just a couple of weeks later, and then eventually it sold at the beginning of December. So about 2 months later, it's sold for $1,450,000. Now, the reason why I'm showing you this example, even though I know the majority of people cannot afford a 7-figure home, I just wanted to show you this example. This is right around the luxury entry price point here in the Las Vegas real estate market, where they listed this home for just under $1.5 million, and they only took about a $40,000 discount before it sold relatively quickly. So again, even at this kind of a price point, if a home is priced properly, there's a lot of money and a lot of wealth coming into the Las Vegas market, and a lot of people, especially from expensive areas like California or New York or Washington, they can very easily afford these kind of price points. And if it's priced right, it's going to sell pretty close to the original list price. All right, so now let's take a look at this second example of another Las Vegas home for sale that actually recently closed. You can see on the left side of the screen, now we're definitely coming down in price. This home closed at $770,000. It's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2,700 square foot home. But again, I want to show you the original list price compared to the selling price. All right, so again, take a look at the blue highlight down on the bottom left. We're going all the way back to 1998. The original selling date of this home was almost 30 years ago at just $263,000. So the original homeowners took this home and put it up for sale. You can see in that yellow highlight just above it on 8/22/2024. So that's just this past summer. They put the home finally on the market for $790,000. So they had a lot of appreciation, but they also held onto the home for many years, actually many decades. And then they got a pending sale almost immediately, and they sold right there at the top, you can see in the yellow highlight, for $770,000. Again, the reason why I'm showing you guys this kind of an example is because this homeowner bought the home at a very reasonable price almost 30 years ago for just $263,000, and they made a very nice profit, but it took them decades to make it. It didn't just happen in a couple of years, and they made a very nice profit because they held onto the property for a long period of time. And again, a lot of people think in Las Vegas that homes should be $300,000 or $400,000. They don't realize how much wealth is coming into this city and can easily buy these kind of price points. And again, because this home was priced properly, it sold very quickly. All right, so now let's take a look at this third and final example of what was a Las Vegas home for sale up until about last week when it finally closed. You can see the closing price on the left side of the screen was just $420,000. That's about $65,000 below the median price point here in Las Vegas. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, nearly 1,600 square foot home. But again, down below, I want to show you the full price history of this home just to give you an idea of what it originally sold for about 10 years ago compared to now. All right, so one more time, focus your attention down at the bottom of the screen. Down in the blue highlight there in the bottom left, the date says 6/19/2015. So we're going back nearly 10 years ago when this home was last sold for just $195,000. If we look just above it, they put this home on the market and listed it for sale right at the end of the year in 2024 for $420,000. And not even about a month or so later, they got the home sold at $420,000. So again, there's a very important reason why I'm showing you guys this kind of an example. If you purchased a home 10 years ago, 20 years ago, or 30 years ago, you have likely made a very handsome profit on that home if you sold it recently, because again, I'm going to explain this a little bit later in the video here. People that are in the market for a long period of time, rather than trying to time the market, are the ones that usually do very well. Just like in the stock market, if you hold a stock for a long period of time, you've got a better chance at making money on that stock, just like you do with a home if you hold it for a long period of time. And this seller is a perfect example where they bought the home many years ago at a very reasonable price and then ultimately sold the home and made a very nice profit. So let me tell you guys something on a personal level. What people are hoping for and what actually happens are two very different things. There's a huge percentage of people out there right now that are praying for every sector of the economy to get cheaper. They want cheaper food prices, car prices, and especially home prices. But the reality, the other side of it is the opposite is happening because we have persistent inflation, and the people that earn a high income or they're wealthy homeowners or investors, they're the ones that are driving up the market. And unfortunately, the middle and lower class people are the ones that are likely going to suffer. That's just the reality of the situation. All right, so before we end today's video, I just want to give a shout out to my favorite comment from last week's video, and that goes to Rock Doc. Now, I'm going to put his comments up here on full screen and read it to you, and then come back on the other side and comment on it. So Rock Doc wrote, moved to Henderson from Bay Area last May, was worried that I was buying at peak of market, but very happy now given current market conditions. I am pretty certain that I could sell this home now for $100,000 more than what I paid for it, and the Californians just keep coming. Will there be a correction in the future? Perhaps, but overall, I see demand exceeding supply for quite some time. So just so you know, Henderson is the adjacent city to Las Vegas. It's just a couple of minutes away. It's a very sought after area. It's been named one of the safest cities in the country, actually. But here's the thing. This person has already made $100,000 in equity in less than a year just by buying the home because, again, he's been thinking what I have been saying, especially recently because of the Southern California wildfires. A lot of Californians continue to move to places like Las Vegas because we're right next door to it, and it's a hell of a lot more affordable for Californians to afford Las Vegas home prices compared to California home prices. Now, Las Vegas is one of the most popular cities in the country, and the real estate market is backing that up because, again, there's a tremendous amount of people that continue to migrate over here, again, especially nearby in California, where people can easily afford home prices here. Now, I want to hear from you guys. I want you to drop me a comment down below. I really respond to all of my comments. I know you probably live in a different real estate market compared to Las Vegas, but I want to hear from you guys. If you recently bought a home, even from just a couple of years ago, or if you've owned a home for a long period of time, I want to know what you've likely made in terms of equity on your home. And my favorite comment from this week's video, I'm going to give a direct on-screen shout out to in next week's video. So just to close out the video, I just want to give you guys some simple advice. Take a look at this famous expression right next to me. Time in the market beats timing the market. Now, this applies to the stock market. It applies to the housing market. And what it basically means is the longer you own a home, the longer you own a stock, the likelihood is you're likely going to do quite well over time because you had time in the market rather than trying to time the market and catch a low point and then try to ride the wave up. Now, when it comes to the housing market, I know everybody's circumstances are different. So here's my simple advice to you guys. Again, if you're thinking about buying a home, try to figure out your personal financial situation. And if you can comfortably do it, you should consider doing it and also consider holding on for at least a 5 to 10 year window because, again, time in the market is likely going to treat you well over that long haul period of time. Now, again, if you're thinking about buying a home, especially here in the Las Vegas real estate market, I've got your back. I'm a local real estate agent here. I've lived here for 20 years. I know every inch of this city. When that time is right for you, definitely reach out to me. Just call, text, or email me anytime, and I'll help you find that perfect dream home. I'll see you in the next video.